Prabhuji, voice is very low.
Very low, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Now it's okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Puja Mataji and all the several devotees. Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shama Rasika Devdasi from Germantown, Maryland.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining.
So,
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Nikunj Rasadas from Germantown, Maryland.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining. Anybody else? Yeah, Prabhuji, I'm still waiting if anybody else wants to announce their name.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Shankar Bhandari from Maryland.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Today we are so fortunate to have His Grace Anupam Srivasa Prabhuji from Mayapur, and today Prabhuji will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, verse 32 onwards. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, and whenever you are ready, please take over the call.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vatachari, Yamuna Tira Vatachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupada Guruvans Parivachkacharya Ashtottr Shri Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jaya Vishnupada Guruvans Parivachkacharya Ashtottr Shri Shri Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Maharaj ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वसादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय, मथुरा धाम की जय, नवदीप धाम नवदीप ठाकुर धाम की जय, जगन्नाथ जी धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, संवेद भक्ति की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल। All glory to December devotees, Hare Krishna. All glory to December devotees, Hare Krishna. All glory to December devotees, Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, 7th canto, 5th chapter, verse number 32. Neshamatistavat, Neshamatistavat, Urukrammanagrahi, Sparshati anarth, Sparshayanta, Sparshayatan arthat, Agamo yadartha, Nesham Matistavadru Kramadru, Sparshatian ha Pamago yadartha, Mahesyam Padar Jo Abhishekam Nishkinchananam Na Vrinita Yavar Na not Asham of these Mati the consciousness Tavat that long Urukram Angrahim the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is famous for performing uncommon activities. Sparshati does touch anartha of unwanted things. Apagamaha the disappearance, yet of which artha the purpose, Mahisya of the great souls, the Mahatmas or devotees, Padraja by the dust of the lotus feet, Abhishekam consecration, Nishkinchanam of devotees who have nothing to do with this material world, Na not Vinita may accept Yavat as long as. Translation: unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely freed from material contamination, persons very much inclined toward materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, in this way one can be freed from material contamination. Purport: becoming Krishna conscious brings one anartha apagama, the disappearance of all anarthas, the miserable conditions we have unnecessarily accepted. The material body is the basic principle of these unwanted miserable conditions. The entire Vedic civilization is meant to relieve one from these unwanted miseries, but persons bound by the laws of nature do not know the destination of life. As described in the previous verse, Isha Tantriam Uru Damini Badha. They are conditioned by the three strong modes of material nature. The education that keeps the conditioned soul bound life after life is called materialistic education. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur has explained the materialistic education expands the influence of Maya. Such an education induces the conditioned soul to be increasingly attracted to materialistic life and to stray further and further away from liberation from unwanted miseries. One may ask why highly educated persons do not take to Krishna consciousness. The reason is explained in this verse. Unless one takes shelter of a bona fide, fully Krishna conscious spiritual master, there is no chance of understanding Krishna. The educators, scholars, and big political leaders worshipped by millions of people cannot understand the goal of life and take to Krishna consciousness, for they have not accepted a bona fide spiritual master and the Vedas. Therefore, in the Mundak Upanishad, it is said, Nayam Atma Pravachena Labhyo Na Vedya Na Bahuna Shrutena. One cannot become self-reliant simply by having an academic education, by presenting lectures in an erudite way, pravachena labh, or by being an intelligent scientist who discovers many wonderful things. One cannot understand Krishna unless one is graced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only one who has surrendered to a pure devotee of Krishna and taken the dust of his lotus feet can understand Krishna. First one must understand how to get out of the clutches of Maya. The only means is to become Krishna conscious, and to become Krishna conscious very easily one must take shelter of a realized soul, a Mahat or Mahatma, whose only interest is to engage in the service of the Supreme Lord. As the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 9.13, Mahatmanas tu mam partha devim prakritim ashrita bhajanti ananya manaso Jnanatva bhutadim avayam. O son of Parth, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Therefore, to end the unwanted miseries of life, one must become a devotee. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagvate akinchan sarver gunes tatra samaste surah. One who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna consistently manifests all the good qualities of Krishna as the demigods and the demigods. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasyaite kathita he artha prakashante mahatmana. Only though onto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Yam evasta vrinate tena labhyastasya atma vivilvate tanum swam. The Lord is obtained only by one who. One second.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. We can't hear you. Your phone shows you are on mute.
Also, there's an echo, Prabhuji. Some echo.
Yeah, your phone is muted, Prabhuji. We can't hear you.
Yeah, Mataji.
Now. Okay, thank you very much.
What? Just 1 second. There are Vedic in the Lord is obtained only by one whom he himself chooses. To such a person, he manifests his own form. Mundak Upanishad 3.2.3. These are Vedic injunctions. One must take shelter of a self-realized spiritual master, not a materially educated scholar or politician. One must take shelter of a niskinchan, a person engaged in devotional service and free from material contamination. That is the way to return home back to Godhead. Om Agyanatimirandhasya Dhyanam Janashalakaya Chakshutamiलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandekam Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sehagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Bhadan Sehagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitansha He Krishna Karuna Satyo Dena Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustite Taptaganchana Gaurandi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishmanusuti Devi Pranamami Haritye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuva Evisha Patitanama Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Vadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitari. Hare Krishna. So this verse and its purport explains about our spiritual life, our journey. And here Srila Prabhupada gives us the hint of going back to Godhead, how one can go back to Godhead, what things one need to be taken care of during this journey of going back to Godhead. So if we scrutinizingly observe this verse, the verse states, unless they swear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely freed from material contaminations. Persons very much inclined toward materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at lotus feet of the Lord in this way can one be freed from material contamination. So if we go deeper into this verse, it tells us about material contamination. Material contamination. As we are living entity, we are soul, but because we are engaged into this material body, into this material world, so there is material contamination. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada starts with that becoming Krishna conscious brings about anartha apagama, the disappearance of all the anarthas. So we do have many anarthas, unwanted habits, many tendencies to do bad things. So this material contamination and how it is coming, the material body is the basic principle of these unwanted miserable conditions. So one side, there is material contamination, material body, anarthas, three modes of material nature, different miseries in this world. And in the next line, Srila Prabhupada states that the entire Vedic civilization is meant to relieve one from these unwanted miseries. आप चक्रा बिल्डिंग में दे सकते हैं, आ जाए चक्रा बिल्डिंग सोचो. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji,
Your
sorry.
voice- Yeah, it was too low and not audible.
So, in this verse, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that the Vedic civilization is meant to relieve one from these unwanted miseries. So, one side there is material world, but another side it's a relief also. And from the perspective of a devotee, it is very clear, because we are experiencing both the worlds, the material life and the spiritual life in the initial years. We experience the life without any devotion. And when coming to Krishna consciousness, with introducing with the devotees, starting in some chanting, reading, hearing about Krishna and his devotees. So one can think, what makes a difference? Earlier there were miseries and now also miseries. So what does it makes a difference? So that's the outlook of a devotee. That really makes it a different thing. That in every situation, one thinks that Krishna supplied me the miseries in a very low proportion. I deserve more, but Krishna provided me in a very low proportion. So Krishna is very merciful. On another side, if one is not Krishna conscious, if one in this materialistic point of view, what one states, why there is so much trouble, why there is so much misery. And a devotee is saying Krishna is reducing the misery for me. And the former person is thinking Krishna or the Lord or the God is giving me so much misery. So the outlook is getting changed. The outlook is getting changed. In continuation of the purport, the education that keeps the conditioned soul bound life after life is called materialistic education. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained that materialistic education expands the influence of Maya. In today's world, one thinks, oh, these books, these Vedic literatures, they are, we don't know who has written them, what time, and our ancestors used to read them. We are young generation, we are new generation. Because time changes, things changes. Earlier there were some different models of houses, different kinds of roads, different kinds of infrastructure, different kinds of technology, different kinds of association. So now things are changing, advancing. So similarly, there should be some different literature also. The old Vedic literature, we should read something new, something different. But this is the difference to state that these Vedic literature must be historical, but it is not outdated. It is meant for everyone, every time. It's not like Bhagavad Gita was relevant only on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where it's a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, or Srimad Bhagvatam was relevant only for Parikshit Maharaj, that Shukadev Goswami was trying to give some relief to Parikshit Maharaj before his death. So these, and how we can see the practical reality that lives gets transformed in our lives, in our day-to-day lives, in our miserable, painful experiences, we find a good relief from these verses, purports. When we read the lives of the devotees, when we read the lives of and the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's give a very good relief. It gives a very hope that yes, I am not this, I'm not the product of this material world. I'm just temporarily engrossed in this material world, trying to find some ways to satisfy myself, but I'm not this body. So in purport, Srila Prabhupada is asking this question, why highly educated persons do not take to Krishna consciousness? It's not like everybody not taking to Krishna consciousness. We see in our movement there are many good educated people who join, understand things minutely and explain to the newcomers. But as a general thing, what Srila Prabhupada is trying to explain, that until and unless one takes shelter of a bona fide, fully Krishna conscious spiritual master, there is no chance of understanding Krishna. So if we think from if one is more educated, if one is more experienced, if one is more having a good social position, then it's easier for him to understand Krishna. It's not like that. Until and unless one takes the shelter of bona fide spiritual master, there is no chance of understanding Krishna. Because that bona fide spiritual master is connecting the disciple to Krishna. And that's why in the verse it states that only one who has surrendered to a pure devotee of Krishna had taken the dust of his lotus feet can understand Krishna. So to take the shelter of a self-realized soul. Why to take shelter? Why we cannot progress our own? Why we have to take shelter of self-realized soul, spiritual master? Because his only interest is to engage us in the service of the Lord. In the verse Prabhupada quotes Bhagavad Gita's 9th chapter, verse 13, that these Mahatmas, they are fully engaged in devotional service. So unless one is fully engaged, how can one engage me in devotional service? Because they are fully engaged in devotional service, so they are engaging the souls who are surrendering onto their lotus feet, engaging them also in the service of the Lord. So to end the unwanted miseries of life, nobody wants misery in life. That I am fed up with this happiness. I want some sadness. I want some issues in my life. I am fed up with this life's journey. It's journey of happiness. I want some distress now. No, everybody wants to avoid distress. Everybody wants to avoid misery. Nobody likes miseries. So to end these unwanted miseries of life, one must become a devotee. One who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna consistently manifests all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods. So that faith in Krishna, and we can see experience the mercy of Krishna, that he is coming personally, he is sharing the message of Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagvatam is there, devotees are there. So that's, we can see that, okay, in material world, everybody is after material pleasure, but still we do have the opportunity to take shelter of the pure devotees. We have the opportunity to take the shelter of the scriptures, Guru Sadhu Shastra. We have the opportunity. So Srila Prabhupada concludes the verse purport that one must take shelter of a self-realized spiritual master, not a materially educated scholar or politician. One must take shelter of a niskinchan, a person engaged in devotional service and free from material contamination. That is the way to return home back to God. So this is the ultimate destination of one who will take the shelter of the Supreme, take shelter of the self-realized pure devotees. So now one can think that, so this is the only way to reach to the ultimate destination, to come out of this material contamination, to come out of this material miseries, that I have to take shelter. So how this ultimately works? So does it really help me to connect with Krishna? So the spiritual master is acting as a medium between us and Krishna. We are limited, so we cannot approach the unlimited Lord. But the spiritual master, out of his causeless mercy, makes himself available to help us approach the Supreme Lord. What other business does this spiritual master have? The spiritual master has completely surrendered to Krishna, and Krishna has revealed himself fully to such a pure devotee. The spiritual master acting as a medium between ourselves who are contaminated by association with matter and connecting us with Krishna. So in one sense, we can say, oh, spiritual master is even more merciful than Krishna, because he comes and reveals himself to the conditioned soul who is contaminated, who is still contaminated by material contamination. So he comes and reveals himself. But since the spiritual master is pure in his surrender to Krishna, to the will of Krishna, so that's make him more merciful. So it is obviously it is the mercy of Krishna that he is sending the spiritual master. But it is then the grace of the spiritual master to deliver Krishna to him. So as we read in the Bhagavad Gita, that the process for going back to Godhead is simply to engage in devotional service to God. But how can we? We are so minute, helpless. How can we do anything for Krishna? So the answer is to serve the spiritual master. So, for example, if one knows a very rich man, so what can one do to please him? Nothing. He has everything. And in comparison, we have nothing. Such a rich person, how we can serve him? But suppose that rich man has a son, then simply by giving a small piece of fruit to the son, one can please the son. And when the son is pleased, then automatically father becomes pleased. So in this way, one can please a very rich man. Similarly, the spiritual master is very dear to Krishna, just as a son is dear to the loving father. By pleasing the spiritual master, one can please Krishna himself. And that's what Krishna also states in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter 69th verse, that there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, or will there ever be one more dear. So Krishna has feelings. He dearly loves the spiritual master. In fact, Srimad Bhagvatam 3rd canto states the Supreme Personality of Godhead is thinking, there is no way I can ever repay my pure devotees. So when a man walks barefoot in the blazing sun, his feet are scorched, but his head feels no pain. If a man is walking barefoot in the blazing sun, so his feet are scorched, but his head feels no pain. Similarly, although he may tolerate offenses to himself, although Krishna tolerates offenses to himself, but he doesn't tolerate any abuse to his pure devotee. So, Krishna glorifies devotees, that they captivate my heart, who are gladdened in heart. They look upon the Brahmins as my own self and pacify them by praising them in loving words. So now there is no question of force, because whenever there is a question of force, so there is no love. Srila Prabhupada once said that if a father calls his son, come here, and there is no love, the son will either refuse to come or he will come reluctantly, thinking secretly, how can I get back to my father? But if I say, oh, please come here, then you'll come immediately out of excess of love. So the service rendered by a student to the bona fide spiritual master is performed out of love. And we can see in the lives of Srila Prabhupada and his disciples that the disciples are always ready to offer pure, loving service to Srila Prabhupada. Out of love. It's not force or that the Swami is here, I have to serve him. No, out of love. Out of that loving exchange. And one can think, okay, Srila Prabhupada was there, he helped them, so they were out of reciprocation, out of gratitude, wanted to serve them. But it's 50 years now. Srila Prabhupada physically left in 1977. And it's 2024 now. But still, we can find the same spirit, or rather, increased spirit of serving their spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. That they want to serve Srila Prabhupada. And when we talk about bona fide spiritual master, so there are qualifications of a bona fide spiritual master also. That he should be in the line of disciplic succession coming from the Supreme Lord himself. It's not like anyone can qualify as a spiritual master, nor should the student accept anyone to be a spiritual master simply on sentiment basis. Krishna is the original spiritual master as revealed in Bhagvatam. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagvat pranita. The path of religion is directly initiated by the Lord. So the bona fide spiritual master teaches this transcendental science, which is first initiated by the Lord as it is without concoction or alteration. Because he is able to do so because he understands the purport of the Lord's teaching from the disciplic succession descending directly from the Lord. So this knowledge, which is mercifully given by the Lord, is like a perfect fruit passed down from the top of a tree. The fruit must be passed delicately. If someone drops the fruit or let it fall in any way, mishandles it, then the whole fruit is spoiled. So if the bona fide spiritual master is in the line of the disciplic succession from the Supreme Lord, he is careful to pass the fruit of Vedic wisdom to us without personally motivated interpretation. So we are coming down to the line of great saints, sages in our line of disciplic succession, the Brahma Madhav Gauriya Sampradaya, beginning with Krishna, including Brahma, Narad, Vyas, Lord Chaitanya, Narottam Das Thakur, Bhakti Vinod, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada, and then disciples. So if the result of process is good, then the process itself must be good. So these acharyas, great saints, they are unmatched in spiritual realization. So the process of Krishna, realizing Krishna realization first spoken by Krishna and passed on through the disciplic succession is also matchless. The another requirement for the bona fide spiritual master is that he speak only on the authorities of the Vedas or his spiritual master. So he never invents ideas or processes for self-realization. He always goes to the higher authorities. So he similarly teaches his students to speak only from the higher authority. Like we see our spiritual masters, they're talking about what they learned from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is talking what he learned from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So always referring to the authorities. Another requirement for a bona fide spiritual master is that this knowledge must be realized. He must be a pure devotee of Krishna, teaching by example, acharya, practicing what he is preaching. not that he teaches dry theory or philosophy. The devotees, this pure devotee, they really engage themselves in the service of Krishna. That's what Gita states, Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, 7th to 9th verse. That these devotees, they know in truth my glory, and they always engage in my my unalloyed devotional service. So this is the nature of bona fide spiritual master. There is always an ecstasy of love of Krishna. So always in ecstasy. Once a student of Srila Prabhupada said, "Oh, Prabhupada, you look so sad in this picture." And Srila Prabhupada replied, "No, that was a moment of ecstasy." So who can imagine the ecstasy of one who is in direct contact with Krishna? So another requirement of a bona fide spiritual master is that realizing Krishna to be everything. So spiritual master never poses himself as God, nor does he ever promise to his students that they can become God. God is God, and we are his servants eternally. Krishna is infinite, and we are infinitesimal parts of Krishna, inconceivably, simultaneously one and different from Krishna. But we are never Krishna himself. So this is the glory of connecting with the spiritual master, the requirement of approaching the spiritual master. Which is ultimately helping us to lead a journey back to God. In this verse, it highlights the importance of the Vaishnavas. So, Vaishnavas, who are constantly thinking of Krishna, are always eager to serve Krishna. And learning how to serve Krishna, they are learning from the spiritual master. So when we talk about Vaishnav, so who is Vaishnav? The simple definition of Vaishnav is given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Prabhupada quotes this in the 4th canto, 21st chapter in the purport, that simple definition of Vaishnav as given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a person who immediately reminds one of the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, is a Vaishnava. So Vaishnava is one who immediately reminds one of Krishna, who is reminding us about Krishna. So this is the simple definition of Vaishnava. Now, when we are dealing with the Vaishnavas, we should be careful that I am dealing with the Vaishnavas. They are so dear to Krishna. I should be careful because pleasing them will please Krishna, and offending them will also offend or disturb Krishna, that I am offending his devotees. I should be careful while dealing with the Vaishnavas, while dealing with the devotees. That's why we offer obeisances, we offer pranams to the Vaishnavas, we welcome them with nice words, we welcome them with garland, we welcome them with respect, honor, because they are special souls. They are special souls. They are engaged in the service of Krishna. Now one can say, oh no, he is not a pure Vaishnava. But as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving definition, that one reminds about Krishna. One is wearing tilak, who has applied tilak on, and which tilak which recalls anyone about Krishna. Oh, he's a devotee, he's applying tilak. So one should be careful while dealing with Vaishnavas. Should be conscious. That's why we call as Prabhu, Master, I'm your servant, I should serve you. And another devotee also doesn't say, okay, you are my servant, start serving me. Oh no, you are also my Prabhu, I should also serve you. I serve you, you serve me. So it's like I want to serve you, and you also want to serve me. So it's like always like, trying to serve each other. And to be careful while dealing relationship with devotees. As we just quoted the example that if to please a rich person and to please his son, will please him, will please the rich person ultimately. So there should be loving exchange between devotees. So in today's verse, it mentions about where we started, the dust of the lotus feet of Vishnu, smearing on their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of Vishnu, are completely freed from material contaminations. Persons who are very much inclined towards materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord. So the dust of the lotus feet of Vishnu. And where we will find these devotees in the world who are always ready to serve us, who are always ready to offer respects, who are always having an intention of serving. In today's world, everybody is busy. Who wants to really help? But in this international society, we can see that whenever somebody is in trouble, the other devotees come, assemble to help. I remember when my grandmother was in hospital and I was running since morning to night and even staying in the hospital at night also. So it was like a very hectic, 4 years back, it was a like very hectic uh, service. And like I was so much running during those days, it was like a week's time, a week. And I lost my weight like maybe 8 to 10 kgs by running here and there, not eating properly, just throughout the day in the hospital with this report, that report. All the relatives used to come during daytime to see, okay, to just check, okay, but during night time also I stay there, and daytime also running with so many things. So, and my cousins, like She was my grandmother, so there's also grandmother. But they were not like willing to, stay in the hospital at night because it was a government hospital, not many facilities of staying. He just lay down on the floor at night or just sit at the bench outside the room. And hospital, you can't have a very peaceful sleep. So my devotee friend, when he came to know that I'm in the hospital and this, he said, "Oh Prabhu, why you are not telling me to come to stay there? You can go at home to take rest. I can come there and I can bring my another friend to whom I also don't know." So it's his friend who is also not a devotee, but like, some helpful nature. So they both came and stayed in the hospital at night. And the next day, it was a shame for my cousins, so they also started staying at night. That that my outside friends are coming to stay in the hospital. So here I wanted to share this thing that the devotees, they are always helpful. They're always helpful, really like a family. I some very, life's ups and downs were there. So I realized that I needed some help. So I thought my this relative can help. He's very resourceful guy. So I observed he didn't help at all. So I realized that Krishna was cutting the knot of attachment. That do you still think that relatives can help you more than my devotees? So similarly, I have to travel tomorrow. I'm going for a project and I don't know to whom should I ask. But still, I'm going to ask the devotees, to check with the devotees, to meet them. So the whole circle changes. Earlier, the consultants would be the relatives or some friends, classmates. But now, whenever anything happens, either it's a case of happiness, either it's a case of sadness. So, to whom one can approach? To always knock the door of devotees. So, this is the glorious appreciation of our movement, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. It's filled with international devotees everywhere. We have devotees who really wants to help, who really feels pain, who really realize that no, he's struggling, I should help. I remember one devotee was sharing that he met with an accident and his road accident and his on scooter. So his wife fell down and had a severe injury on head. So after some days, I talked with the devotee, and he said that, Prabhuji, I cannot tell you that. Earlier, like while serving with devotees, I always thought, oh, this devotee is like that, this devotee is like that. He's still doing so many blunders. He is always after this thing. He is always after that thing. He always want to fight. But now, when I was in really need, I realized that these are the people who are the most helpful persons in my life. That every meal, it was like they just divided amongst each other the duties of serving meals. We don't even have to bother to think that where the prasad will come from. In the hospital, the prasad was coming, and when we are at home and prasad was coming, morning somebody's coming to give, lunch is somebody's coming to give, dinner somebody's coming to give. We never like even thought that these are the people along with whom I am connected for years now. And I haven't realized that, and I haven't expected. I was not there for taking some benefit, but this is not benefit. This is a relationship that in our family, to our brother, sister, wife, husband, daughter, son, father, uncle, we just serve them. So we are also like a family that we are serving each other and participating in the moments of happiness, going at the house of devotees for birthday parties, for when the children are born, some yagyas are there, when some anniversaries are there, just participating in the moments of happiness and also in the moments of some tough moments, helping. And sometimes like it's like I mean there is a Rath Yatra festival. It was like in when the Jagannath comes from temple to Gundicha temple and then return back from Gundicha temple to the main temple. So here in Mayapur also they celebrate like that. So on the first journey, 7th July, so I was coming from the Rajapur Jagannath temple to Mayapur temple. So when crossed the Yoga Peeth, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace, so I was just standing and one devotee, I mean, I'm the known devotee, he just came and asked one question to me, and I just replied. It was like a general inquiry or something. So I thought it's answered, but he then stopped speaking. So I just thought that I answered that just one word question or two one line question. That was his inquiry to me, but still I was not satisfied. I answered, and I am not supposed to say much more than that because that was the only question. But still, I was feeling like he something is there in his heart, what he's thinking, something is disturbing. And then we just started talking and talking, and then it was like 6 p.m. and then we left for home at 10 p.m. Like 4 hours we talked with each other. And it's it's not only Matajis can talk, Prabhujis can also talk that much. But there was, I don't see any outcome of that talk. It was like sharing of something very disturbing, personal life. But I realized that we need some soft corner sometime to that we just explore our heart. We just want to we just want to share something and we don't find anybody to share with. So and I and since then, I mean I haven't solved this problem, but there were some at least some positive signs or something that whenever he just meet me like just passing by and just say, very smilingly he see me. There is a very difference in that this smile and the previous ones. Earlier it was like Hare Krishna, okay, just going head down, so just a glimpse because he's riding scooter and I'm also riding and just passing, crossing by each other and just nodding the head down to say Hare Krishna. But there is a special smile after that, which I observed since last week. That it's such like, and to offer somebody, offering ears to somebody to, yes, I am there to listen to you. Sometimes we just want to speak, not for any solution. We feel, oh, there is no solution for it, or it's like, I have to just tolerate it for some time, or something is there, or the solution will come as per time. But sometimes we just want to talk, speak and speak and speak, or just listen some positive sides from some good things. So this is like I'm surprised. Like I cannot imagine like if everybody asked each other, "Oh, how are you? I'm fine. I'm good." So the question is fixed and the answer is also fixed. How are you? I am good. You can't say I am feeling very bad. I'm feeling very low. I'm feeling very depressed. I am like feeling very, very, you know, I'm very disturbed. No, you can't say, because if you say that, then that the person has to offer his ears. Oh, please tell me what happened. Or when you start speaking, oh, sorry, I'm getting late. I don't have so much time to hear you. Can you please WhatsApp me? What's your problem is? So the personal relationship with the devotees, so just I was just sharing this experience that relationship with devotees, it's very personal. Once we used to go in the youth classes, so I felt like we don't know each other much, like the classmates who are coming in the same classes. So once I thought I'll start developing relationship with the devotees and ask about them, how are they doing and what's going on. So when I asked one devotee, I mean, this is the devotee with whom I am attending classes for like more than a year. And I asked, oh Prabhu, so I mean, who's else there in your family? So he shared, yes, me, my mother left body, I am there, my elder brother is there, my father is there. Oh, what your father do? What your elder brother do? Where do you live? Okay, so this. So he was just answering the question, and then suddenly he's just out after a few minutes, he out of very, very skeptic moment, like very suspicious expression, he asked, what happened, Prabhuji? Why you are asking so much? So I realized that I am just asking in a friendly way. It's not because we are coming uh, for classes. One, yes, we are just seeing each other for 1 year, but we don't know anything about each other. So several times I realized, like when I was in my school, high education, then after clearing the schooling, the 12th standard. So I was having many friends at that time, and ev- every day almost somebody or other was coming at home. I was going there. We were studying together, playing together, discussing with each other, each other's problem we know, and we used to help each other. And then when I just stepped out of my school, and started preparing for the professional studies, and then I out of that, such a academic load, I just made aloof from those friends so that I can focus on career. And suddenly I went to ISKCON and got connected at that point of time. Then I realized that I can't, turn back to those friends. I'm not, because I crossed that, so many years now. And then to whom can discuss my thoughts, or I can share my heart, because those friends to whom I, just cross by, they're having different mindset. They want to smoke, drink. I can't do those things. I am not that stuff. But to whom should I share my heart? And if I don't develop relationship with devotees, so devotees also, like I'm very formal, very like, okay, you are chanting, okay, I'm chanting, that's all. But helping each other, developing relationship. So I realize that it is so much required when we are going to each other's house, when some another devotee is calling you, when you are calling some devotee, oh, I'm cooking this, I'm offering this, okay, so please come for the meal, okay, so this is the occasion. It's not like it's a family. It's a family to always help each other, reciprocate with each other, help during tough times, and really, you know, take care of each other. Like staying together, we are spending our years and years together, but if we don't know about each other, We don't know that the person, oh, if I'll tell Prabhuji, so he will feel, oh, I am still so much absorbed in these thoughts. Life's ups and downs with each other. Yeah, like it's a part of life, different phases in life. So Vaishnavas are very special, and by serving them, we can really advance nicely by their prayers. I remember one devotee, he was in Vrindavan, I saw him there in front of Srila Prabhupada Samadhi Mandir. He was having a big paper and he was just, speaking the name of the devotee and then speaking prayers for him. Srila Prabhupada, this devotee is facing so many problems in his life. Please help him. Next, this Prabhu. Prabhupada, he's very nice devotee, but his chanting is not going well. Please bless him. Next devotee. Oh Srila Prabhupada, this devotee is not able to read properly. He's not reading your books. Please give him good association so that he can read your books nicely. Next devotee. Oh Srila Prabhupada, this devotee is having so many family issues. Please guide him. So like this, he was just, listing out the name of devotees and just sharing their, prayers on their behalf. Such a, it happened so many years before, and I was deeply touched by this devotee. Like, we don't know who is praying for us. We really don't know. We really don't know who is praying for us. We think, oh, I'm chanting so nicely, I am advancing so nicely now, so many years pass by, I am able to regulate my habits, I am, taking prasad, I stopped onion garlics, I don't take coffee, I am this. So all our efforts are getting highlighted, but we don't know whose prayers are behind those advancements. We don't know who are the devotees who are praying for us. Who is our real well-wisher? So we are a family. We should stay together, discuss with each other, share our hearts. And the one person who is getting drowned with the miseries, the other person should try to help him, not drowning along with him, but hearing him, discussing with him, and helping him, and referring the scriptures, giving him solace, giving him solace, and giving the reference of scriptures, that how one should come out of it. And sometimes when I feel like devotees, they are there, but if cannot share the heart with each other, so it's very mechanical. Like, we are staying together, we are sitting with each other, but still things are missing. So it's an blissful journey of spiritual life. We have everything. Krishna is there. His devotees are there. What Krishna wants, that's there. It's not like we want to worship Krishna and we don't know what Krishna wants from us. The words are spoken by him. Bhagavad Gita is there. Srimad Bhagvatam is there. What are the feelings, reciprocations of the devotees? What are the offerings of the devotees? What are the mindset of devotees? And what's the struggle of devotees? How do they spend their life? Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, we can see the whole lifetime preparation, the struggles, and so many things are there. The life of Goswamis, Chaitanya Charitamrita is there, living a life of a devotee, everything is there. We have live devotees who are staying with us, with whom we are meeting. So it's a very blissful journey of going back to Godhead. So we should be careful also that not to lose this association. Sometimes if we start thinking, oh, just only fault finding things, this devotee is doing that, this devotee is doing that, he's not like doing this. We should do prayers for those devotees, like that devotee who was praying in front of Srila Prabhupada. If we see any shortcomings, we should pray for him. If we can't do anything, if we can't, because we may not have any friendly relationships with everybody, but we still know that this devotee is having this shortcoming, we should pray for him, should approach. And so by our constant endeavors and practice of Krishna consciousness, and then we'll see that we are going back to God. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for this wonderful, wonderful class and explaining with your personal experiences also. So it was very helpful. I don't have any question, but I open the forum to all the devotees. If you have any question, please go ahead and ask, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This is Geeta. Thank you so much for a very, very inspiring and, points that I learned for the first time. I wanted to ask you, that you said that the guru should be the Prabhujis or our whom we take, we become, we get our, let's say, our mantra, and we, Guruji basically, whom we, follow, they should be enlightened. But it's a lot of people don't tell that they are enlightened. How would we know that they are enlightened souls?
By observing the lives of devotees, we can see that.
Sorry, Prabhuji, can you speak a little loudly?
Yeah, your voice is very low, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'm saying by observing the lives of the devotees, we can see, like Srila Prabhupada, we can see, like, we read in Bhagavad Gita the qualities of devotees, and we can see these qualities in reflections in the lives of devotees who are really practicing that, or who have really attained that platform. So, like, tolerance is one thing. So you can see that how one is acting in the situation of difficult times or adverse situations.
But for
Patience.
that, you have to know your Prabhuji, you have to know your Guruji well beforehand. Many times that opportunity may not be there,
That's why the disciple should take sufficient time to select the Guru. That it's not like blindly I am following the spiritual master. So disciple is also getting attracted by the qualities of a spiritual master and observing, and by hearing about him. It's not like always we get a chance to experience personally. We get a chance to hear from others who are connected with him for a longer time. Like Srila Prabhupada, we may have not experienced the personal association, the physical association, but we hear from his disciples that how Srila Prabhupada did this miraculous event of making 100 temples, opening 100 temples at the advanced age of 70. So how their experiences. So that's why when we are hearing about those elevated personalities, so we develop that understanding that, oh yes, so this is the case.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All good to Prabhupada. Such a nice class. Maharaj's words are nectarian. You nicely carried them. And like you were stressing on the your description of your life scale and the experiences, and that telling you that Vaishnava is very soft-hearted and kind, whereas the world around that he lives in, it's fast-paced and no place for no time to reflect upon the finer nuances of of the struggles or the pains that others may go through, the sensitivity. So the Vaishnavas carry that sensitivity, that mercy, that compassion, empathy, and that is very much lacking. And yes, to see see everything in relationship to Krishna and to pause and reflect, and that is very important. That thing I was picking up that as a personal lesson for me, and that will be and that will be very that will be helping me in my life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, Rajit, so I can take a leave. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, which was the last verse you did today?
It was the same 7.5.32.
32. Okay. So tomorrow will be 32, 33. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Let's pay obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpataruvesha kripa sindhu vevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य श्री ठाकुर की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। His Grace अनुपम श्रीवास प्रभु की जय।
Jai.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Prabhuji, so
Prabhuji.
much.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.